Hey folks, you're OS of PTXRoots.com. You're watching our full feature review of the Amazon Kindle Fire HD. This is the 2012 version, which is the last generation model. However, as opposed to the current generation model, there are a few things that this device actually does that the new version doesn't. For example, you have a built-in webcam for video chatting applications like Skype and WeChat, which the current model actually omits, which is quite nice. Also, the price tag when it was first released is only $200 for the 16GB version, and you can now find it for about $50 less, which is quite nice as well. What's interesting about the Amazon Kindle Fire is that when you first turn it on and before the Wi-Fi gets connected, you actually have access to your own, wallpaper and your home screen there. But after you turn it off again and turn it back on, there is an ad that's displayed in its place, such as this Kindle Fire ad that you see here. It's a little bit of a kind of tricky way for Amazon to make a few bucks off of some ads here and there. It doesn't distract too much from the user experience, but if you want to get rid of the ads, you can pay Amazon an additional $15, and they will remove that and allow you to use your own wallpapers and home screens and the such. Again, the device itself is also interesting because it technically runs on a skinned layer of Android, perhaps Android 4.2 ice cream sandwich, but it's extremely skinned to the extent where you don't have that much customization, and it's entirely controlled by Amazon. Again, the user interface is very simplistic, so in that department, it's great for first-time tablet users, or if you like the simplicity of iOS, you might like what you see here. Again, it doesn't offer as much freedom in terms of widgets and applications as that of a true Android tablet. Also, $200 is on the pricier side of the spectrum, we think, for a 7-inch tablet with these specs, because you can also get the Google Nexus 7, which offers more customization options and a very similar set of screen resolution and wireless suites as well. However, if you are a constant Amazon customer for books, for e-reading, for shopping, I think that this is a great option for you to go because it merges together both Amazon and a few Google services here and there, so it combines two great companies. If you want constantly use those services, this device will make sense for you. As far as design is concerned, it has quite a bit of a large bezel on the sides of the unit, and this allows the device to be gripped and held pretty comfortably in the hand when you're reading it, which is a nice design decision. Unfortunately, this screen is a huge fingerprint magnet, so when you're using it, it will attract quite a lot of grease marks and fingerprints here and there, which isn't great for direct sunlight reading. Thankfully, the screen itself is very bright, very vibrant, and it's an IPS panel with an HD resolution of 1080 by 800, which offers very great viewing angles, very bright colors, and they definitely pop off the screen, even if the pixel per inch of 221 isn't that impressive. Again, the front of the device offers the ambient light sensor / the front-facing video camera on the top there, whereas the left-hand side of the device doesn't offer anything, and the right-hand side offers the power on and off switch, the volume rocker, which is very easy to press, and a 3.5mm headphone jack if you don't want to use the stereo Bluetooth included on the device. The backer unit also offers stereo speakers for you to listen to music, and the device also comes with Adobe's technology built in for better sounding quality, just like how some HTC phones come with some Beats audio sounds. This device has some software amplification which allows the actual sound quality to be better than that of a normal tablet, which is definitely appreciated. The back is also coated in a layer of soft touch, which makes gripping the device very easy to use. Overall, this is a pretty attractive tablet. It's very slim, definitely pretty easy to hold and manageable, and it feels very well made in the hand, has a great weight to it, so it feels like a premium device in the hand, which is definitely a great thing to have. As far as the UI, there hasn't been that much changes compared to the original Kindle Fire, but again, just a better screen, a better experience overall. The processor on here is a 1.2 GHz dual-core chipset, which Amazon claims is better than the Tegra 3 in terms of video performance and web browsing experience. And we found that in our testing, this was kind of a far reach and a far stretch. Yes, the tablet itself is very responsive and lucid, but playing games are very easy, but we found that browsing the web was actually kind of slower than what we expected, especially because the device offers Silk as a web browser instead of something like the traditional Android web browser, but still loading speeds were about the same as a regular Android tablet with these same specs, which is a little bit disappointing, at least from my department and my point of view. Now, the bottom device houses a micro USB for charging and a micro HDMI for plugging into an HD television for mirroring content and also HD videos to a larger screen display, and both of those functions work pretty well. As far as the built-in storage, again, you don't have a micro SD card for expanding your memory, but the positive side of this device is, of course, that you can have 16 gigabytes. You also have some cloud storage capabilities, which should give most people ample storage for watching video content and playing back MP3 videos. You can see the accelerometer also works pretty well for games and also general usage. Battery life is on the shorter side of the spectrum for a 7-inch tablet. It lasted us around 2.5 days before we had to recharge it with moderate usage, which is a little bit disappointing. Charging device is also a little bit picky on the Kindle Fire HD. It only supports kind of OEM chargers. If you want to use a regular charger, it works as well, but it takes a little bit longer, about a day and a half to fully recharge the product, which is a little bit on the longer side of the spectrum that we didn't really expect. Again, this device offers truly terrific viewing angles, and responsiveness of the screen is definitely top-notch, so if you want to use pinch-to-zoom gestures for browsing the web, everything works as expected. So again, we can load the actual web browser, and let's turn on the Wi-Fi first. We were that was turned off just to conserve battery, and we can turn that on here. Again, there is stereo Bluetooth. Something that's missing with this device as opposed to a Nexus 7, for example, is the actual inclusion of GPS, which means you can't use this for turn-and-turn directions, which means that it can be used in the car or if you're on foot for a navigational aid. But overall, it's still pretty fully functional in terms of the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi covering that up. Again, the device has access to the Amazon App Store, which is not as fully functioning and fully featured as the regular Android App Store by Google, but you still have apps that are kind of popular and out there right now, including, of course, Angry Birds and most popular ebook titles and the such. You can see here how when you're in different applications, the screen itself orientates itself to dub as different hot controls, including the home, the back, and the favorites icon. And if we press on there, we can go home, and those keys will automatically disappear as well. So it works pretty well for the most part. The top device also features your time and date information, and dragging down this bar also reveals some basic information for some different messages from different Gmail accounts and different games. And from here, you can also select from different modes for the accelerometer, the brightness of the screen, the proximity sensor, the wireless options, the sync, and you can press more to access more options from the settings. This is actually the only place I can get to the settings. There is no separate icon in the UI that takes you there. You have to slide down the drawer here to get to the settings. So from here, it's easy to see that the actual application and the user interface is derived from Android, just from that drop-down notification drawer. But again, it's very heavily customized, doesn't offer as much freedom as a traditional Android tablet. So if you wanted to launch a basic game, for example, Flow, it's runs pretty smoothly. As far as the chipset for running games, we found that to be actually pretty accurate in terms of performance, being about the same as a Tegra 3 chipset or even better. Graphics load extremely fast, and rendering speeds are great. The device is also great in the aspect that it doesn't really overheat, so it offers minimal heat when you're holding it for extended periods of time. That's something that we really like to see, and we're glad to see on this device. So again, touchscreen is very responsive. All the icons load really fast, and again, loading different levels are fast as well. Tapping on the bottom here brings up your different, your drawer of different icons in the bottom, including home, menu, search, and taking you to the web browser. And again, those icons will disappear once you leave the game or the application that you are in. Again, another part of the whole app experience and the whole ads experience is the fact that there is a row of different applications that says customers also bought if you enjoyed this application, and this is something that will be removed if you pay the $15 to Amazon to get rid of ads, along with the home screen. So along with the lock screen. So again, in the horizontal view, you don't even see that, but in the vertical view, you will see that little bit of ad showing up at the bottom there. Overall, the carousel view in terms of UI is pretty responsive and lucid, and we like how it's almost a cover flow-like effect from Apple for their music in terms of iTunes, but now it's just for applications and books, and it works pretty well for the most part, and we were definitely pleased with the performance. But the downside is if you have a lot of different open applications, you're gonna have to scroll through quite a lot of stuff just to get there. But thankfully, you do have your list of hot shortcuts on the top of the device, including a search bar for the shop. You have one for games. Again, you can press on that, and you can see the speeds are pretty fast, and you can even see it on your cloud, which is stored on your Amazon account, or you can select devices for devices stored directly on the unit's memory. And there's one for apps that you can see here. Search by apps, including your email client, your Silk web browser. You have an Office suite for downloading and also installing and editing your different Word, PowerPoint, and Excel documents. There's IBDM for viewing your movies, personal movies and videos, a calendar, and a shop for Amazon. Again, you can toggle between the cloud storage that Amazon provides or the actual device's storage. And again, here are your books, which you can press on, and you can also scroll back and forth to add into more different hot swappable settings. There's a few sample books. So if we press on a sample that's on this device already, you can see that In terms of e-reading, it's a pretty enjoyable experience. It's pretty fast. You can, of course, toggle between night mode and day mode for reading, and you can also tap on different words to search up the word in a dictionary or to highlight, or, of course, to annotate it, which works pretty well. And, of course, Amazon offers the WhisperNet service for book downloads, which means that book downloads are almost instantaneous, which is something that other services like Barnes & Nobles can't really offer. There's also, of course, MP3 for listening to music on the go, and that works pretty well. You can search the music store. Again, it's pretty responsive, pretty fast, and of course you can also listen to device directly stored on your unit. Same thing goes for video and video content. Again, you can take advantage of the display, which is very high resolution and easy to use, great for displaying content, and of course you also have a newsstand for viewing magazines and for photos, and essentially for a documents reader, as well as the aforementioned Silk web browser. Taking a quick look at the actual QWERTY keyboard of the Amazon Fire Kindle Fire HD, you can see that it's a pretty good experience overall. It's slightly customized from one you might find from a traditional Android-based tablet, but it works pretty well. There is no swipe function on this keyboard, of course, but you can download that from the Amazon App Store potentially, and the web browser is optimized in the sense that it is a little bit faster than say a traditional web browser, but more flash-heavy pages still take quite a few minutes and seconds to load, so it's not quite as fast as something that we might have expected. But if we search that, it automatically uses Bing as the search client instead of using Google. You can see that pinch to zoom is very lucid and responsive. And if we tap on the New York Times, it will load the full version instead of the mobile version, and you can toggle between those two in the settings, and of course add new pages and bookmarks as you go along. You can see how flash content will load, like videos and ads, and overall the experience is pretty fast, just not as fast as something we might have expected. Again, it takes a few seconds longer over Wi-Fi, and our reception is pretty good. So it's still loading right now, as you can see here. So overall, pretty good browsing experience, especially for watching a few videos here and there, but it's not as fast as Amazon claims, unfortunately, at least not the unit that we have here for review. But overall, a pretty good experience, especially with the HD screen. So overall, at the end of the day, I think that the Amazon Kindle Fire HD is a great device if you're just starting out, if you want your first tablet experience. It doesn't offer as much freedom and customization as, say, a actual tablet like the Nexus 7 can offer, but it has pretty good performance if you want something that's tied with Amazon, something simplistic to use, which has also a very good amount of portability and very high-end specs, and I think that you won't be disappointed with the Amazon Kindle Fire HD 2012 edition. So thanks for watching this video review here at OS and VTXRoots.com. This has been our, again, intensive look at the Amazon Kindle Fire HD, the 2012 iteration with the built-in front-facing camera. Thanks for watching here at OSVTXRoots.com and also our brother site at OS Tech News.